I told when I ran for president, I told you I'd have your back. And I have. I'm proud to be the most pro-union president.
We are preparing to strike these companies in a way they've never seen before.
They are already inspired. They are already prepared to go on strike.
We can't make our money, they don't need to make their money. I mean, simple as that.
Right now, we are waiting on the White House and President Biden. The White House is calling this a major economic speech that the president is set to deliver 2:45 p.m. Eastern time today. And it comes as the president is staring down a potential strike by the United Auto Workers. A strike could cost the economy billions of dollars and would come at a time when voters are increasingly critical of Biden's handling of the economy. Let's bring in Charles Payne, host of Making Money on Fox News. Can I just ask you about the speech we're about to hear from the president? I mean, it seems like they're doubling, tripling down on Bidenomics, that these are policies that are working for hardworking, everyday Americans. But poll after poll, economic data after economic data, show that that is just not the case.
Sandra, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. This White House has been consistent about one thing. Public relations and spin comes before everything. Before everything. You botched Afghanistan, try to spin your way out of it. Every single mistake that they've made, they have never said, hey, maybe we need to tweak something. I would love it. I think people would love that if you had a president who says, yeah, we tried this initially, but it was wrong. We're gonna do something different. Instead, you're dumb. You don't understand the economy. You don't understand your own pocketbook. Look what I've done for you.
But you know what the American people are telling them? Cover of the New York Post today. It's still the economy, stupid. And you can tell people all day long that they should be feeling great and that the numbers are good and things are improving. But if they don't feel it, then that's not going to...
What did we learn 2 days ago? The Census Bureau finally crunched all the numbers for last year. Real incomes are down 3 years in a row. Poverty, the rate of poverty spiked, the fastest one-year spike in history. Hispanic poverty, near 20%. Black poverty, near 18%. Now, maybe Biden thinks he'll get those votes anyway. Maybe he's so used to telling those people, hey, you know what? I'll tell you how you feel, and you'll accept it. You'll shut up and accept it because you're going to vote for me anyway. Maybe they're taking it for granted. I hope the American public pushes back because it is so frustrating, Sandra.
And I hear it in your voice. And by the way, there are now governors at the state level taking it into their own hands, this inflation crisis. They don't see the help at the federal level or the acknowledgement what drove us into this crisis to begin. Governor Kemp joined us yesterday. He's declaring a state of emergency in Georgia because of the high prices. Listen.
Biden's taking credit for driving inflation down. He created the inflation to start with, so he's fixing or trying to fix a problem that he created. But the bottom line is, prices continue to remain high, and hardworking Georgians and hardworking Americans know that. And that's why people are not giving President Biden credit for this economy.
Because what they're really feeling, yesterday, I think Jared Bernstein at the White House podium, he tried to dig into like, okay, this is core CPI. And this is what economists watch because it strips out food and energy, which can be more volatile. Well, this is the number people are feeling. These are consumer prices under this presidency since January 2021. Consumer prices are up nearly 17%. If you want to look at gas prices, they want to strip it out, apparently, in their analysis. But gas prices today, $3.85, up from a year ago. And look at that, up a lot, $1.50 from when the president took office. That's what people feel.
And I think what's really worrisome about those numbers is because that's what the president wanted to happen. That's what makes us so egregious.
Well, they would push back on that.
No, they wouldn't. Listen to every campaign speech that candidate Biden gave. He said, I'm going to get rid of the oil industry.
That is true.
We know supply and demand. The less supply, the higher the price goes up. That's economics 101. So he wanted the prices to go up. He can't deny that. When he keeps changing the rules on the industry, when he keeps demonizing the fossil fuel industry, that means he wants the prices to go higher. By the way, when prices go higher, at some point, maybe people will start to look at these EVs because he can't seduce them. The only folks who can really buy them are wealthy people. And by the way, why the hell are wealthy people getting earned income child credit and making $350,000 a year? He has shifted the focus, right? I can see why these unions are pissed off with him. President Biden has been using poor people, black people, Hispanics. He uses historic problems, and then he uses that as a facade or a front. And what does he do with it? He pays off student loans for the richest, wealthiest, most blessed people on the planet. He gives couples making $350,000 a year child tax credits. Are you kidding me? That was supposed to be for the working poor. So he's using the facade of these people. Some of them are waking up. The UAW say, hey, don't pimp us anymore. We want our rights. We want to make some money because you're giving these car companies hundreds of billions of dollars to go down this deep, dark hole of EVs when nobody wants them.
Not only that, remember when Chuck Schumer called it a bailout for big oil when the former president, Trump, wanted to fill up the SPR at like $20 a barrel? Now they're trying to fill it up at $90 a barrel.
Late.
Who are
It's
we
too
bailing
late.
it out? Real quick, you are a newly appointed board member of Boys and Girls Club of Harlem. You're hosting your first charity event tonight. I wanted to make sure I get that in there.
Thank
really
you very
important
much.
stuff that you're doing.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's going to be 145th Street in Harlem. It's cigars, spirits, and I'm going to give a speech because they helped me out when I was
You're out there fighting for these folks.
I'm going to try to make a difference. I'm not just going to talk about this.
Amazing stuff, Charles. Thanks so much for joining us, and good luck with that.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.